Okay, well, we have a couple of problems in section 3, not too many. So, number 1 asks, what is the true annual percentage rate? So, we use this table to figure that out. So let's just write down the specifics for problem number 1. So we've got $1,000. So that's the loan. Finance charge is the interest rate, or how much we're charged. So basically interest. And we have 12 monthly payments. So you go use this fancy table in the book. And so on the vertical listing is number of monthly payments. So we have 12, so we're going to use the second row. And it says finance charge per $100 of amount financed. So what you can do is we have $75. So we have $75 per $1,000 for $1,000. So what you want to get it is per $100. So what you would do is you divide both the numerator and the denominator by 10. So you'd get $7.5 per $100, or $75 per $1,000. And then what you do is you go across your table and you try to find 7.5. So if you go across table 5 on page 707, you'll see 7.46, and then you'll see 7.74. So it's right between 13.5 and 14% annual percentage rate. Let's see if they want us to interpolate it, just to use the closest one. So they say 13.5%. Okay, so they don't want us to do it any more accurate. So again, what you'd see over here, 12, 18, 24, etc. So we're doing 12 months. You come all the way over here, you'll see 7.46 and 7.74. And up here in the percentages, you have 13.5% and 14%. So since we have $7.5 per 100, that corresponds really close to that number, and then therefore we use 13.5%. Okay, let's see what the next problem is. Number 5. Find the monthly payment. So what we have is the purchase price. This is number 5. We have the purchase price is $3,000. We have the down payment. So that's $500. And we have the finance charge. So that's the total amount of interest that we have to pay on the amount that we financed. So the amount financed is the purchase price. Amount financed is the purchase price minus the down payment. So that leaves us with $2,500. Then you have the finance charge, which is $250. And you add those together and you get $2,750. And then all you have to do is divide the total amount that you owe, by the number of months. And it says 24 monthly payments. So we take the amount financed plus a service charge. So we take $27.50 and we divide by 24. And we find the calculator. $27.50 divided by 24 is $114.58, which is the answer they're looking for. I'm trying to think about this relative to what we did with the table. So the finance charge would be the sum of all the interest values, and the amount financed would be the sum of all the principals. And then you add those together and you get the total amount owed, and you divide that by the number of months. So that's kind of what they're doing. They are adding all the interests together. All of the principals payments add up to the amount financed. The sum of those two is the total amount you pay. Your monthly payment is the total amount you pay divided by the number of months. Okay, next one is 11. So what are they asking for here? Find the true annual interest rate. Okay, that's what we did earlier. So it's basically like 1 through 4, but they're just asking in a slightly different way. And we're doing 11, so we have the purchase price. Which is equal to $7,480. And then we have the down payment. So the difference between the two of those is the amount that I have to finance through a loan. So this is $2,200. So we subtract that one from the first one. $7,480 minus $2,200. So we finance amount financed is equal to $5,280. And the add-on interest rate is make sure I'm looking very calm here. 5%. And the number of payments is 18. So we do this for 18 months. Okay, so now what the heck do we do? Well, you have to figure out what the finance charge is. So the finance charge, in the case of a add-on loan, is going to be equal to the amount financed, which is $5,280, times the yearly interest rate, which is 0.05, times the number of years, which is 1.5. 18 months is 1.5 years. I'm going to take 5280 times 0.05 times 1.5. So that gives me $396. So we have the finance charge, we have the amount financed. So if you remember back on the first problem, we had the finance charge per amount financed, per $100. So what we have is we have $396 over $5,280. So that's our finance charge, and that's our loan. So what we need to get it in is $100 per $100. So it's really a proportion. So what we'll do is we'll multiply 100 times that and then divide by 5280, and that'll be the number that we use. So if you solve for x, what you do is you multiply both sides by 100. So you'd have $396. So 96, yep. 396 times 100 divided by 5,280. And they're all dollars, so you get dollars divided by dollars, and then you have another dollars left over. So the answer is dollars. And let's see what we got here. We got 396 times 100 divided by 5,280. I think it's 7.5. So that $7.5 per, well, X is that. But what I'm going to use the table for is $7.5 per $100. That's the dollars of finance per $100 loaned. And that just makes it so that you can go to the table. So we go to the table. We go to the third row, which is the 18 table. We look for 7.5. Don't see it exactly. So what we see is that 9%, the corresponding dot is $7.28 per $100. And at 9.5, we have 7.6. 9.5 gives you $7.69 per $100. Well, we have 7.5 in here. So the question is, where is it in here? How do you do that? Well, what you can kind of do is put the unknown right here. I'm trying to figure out what percentage it is. And what you would find is if you took a ratio, what we're going to do is we're going to take x minus 9. So this minus that is compared to 7.5 minus 7.28. So I'm going here to here, here to there. Then I'm going to compare here to here and here to here. Okay, so you get 9.5 minus 9.0 and 7.69 to 7.28. So this is the ratio of the total distance between the two numbers, and this is the distance between this intermediate point. So how do you solve for this now? Well, you'd cross multiply. Well, actually, you multiply both sides by this number. I guess one thing we could do is we could just go ahead and do the math here. So 9.5 minus 9 is 0.5. 7.5 minus 0.28 is 0.22. And 0.69 divided by 0.28 is 4.41. 7.69 minus 7.28 is 0.41. Okay. And then I can multiply both sides by a half to solve for x minus 9. And then I can add 9 to both sides. So I get 9 plus 0.22 divided by 0.41 times 0.5. And I should get some number between 9 and 9.5, about halfway between, just kind of ballparking. So let's take 0.22 divided by 0.41 times 0.5 is 0.268 plus 9, and I get 9.27%, or you might be able to round it off to 9.3%. And let's see what the book gives me as the answer. And the answer is, they put 9.5. They made it too easy. So they just rounded. They said, oh, this is closer to this than it is to that, so I'm going to round up to 9.5%. But this is a more accurate result. So what do we do here? We have the purchase price. We subtracted the down payment. That left us how much to finance. we used a simple add-on loan, which means that you take the amount to finance multiplied by the yearly percentage rate in decimal form multiplied by the number of years. That gave us the amount financed, the finance charge. We were going to use the table to find the effective annual percentage rate based on this add-on. So the add-on interest is 5%, but because of the fact that with add-on loans we don't get any credit for paying off the balance early or paying off the balance, then we effectively are paying a higher interest rate. So this is what this is telling us. What is the effective interest rate? So we took the amount financed divided by the amount, the amount finance charged divided by the amounts financed, and we wanted to get that in dollars per $100 because that's the way the table works. So we said, what is X to 100 such that these ratios are the same, proportions are the same. So you solve for X, you got $7.5 per $100. We look in the table and we see 9% you have $7.28 per 100, and at 9.5% effective interest you have 7.69. The book just said, oh, that's close enough to 9.5. I'm just going to call it 9.5. What I did was I said the ratio, the difference from here to here, and the ratio from here to here is the same as the ratio from here to here and here to here, and the only unknown I have is X. And I go through and I just, first thing I did was I did these operations to get decimals. Multiplied both sides by 0.5, so I got X minus 9, then I added 9 to both sides, so I get 9 plus this thing, and then I plug it in my calculator, and I get 9.3%, which is rounds up to 9.5 if you're not going to spend a huge amount of time on it. Okay, now the last problem is 13. Unearned interest by the actuarial method. Each loan is paid in full before its due date. Obtain the value of H from Table 5, then use the actuarial method to find the amount of unearned interest and find the payoff amount. Okay, so what we have is the monthly payments is equal to $346. 70 cents. The annual percentage rate, which is the effective interest rate, is 11%. However that's come about. It might be an add-on loan that's like 7%, or it may be just a regular loan. And it says that there's 18 months remaining on the loan. So I'm just trying to decide whether you even want to do this one. Yeah, forget it. Nobody ever does that.